dancing brings joy to people.
There is such great joy in teaching. There is such great joy in dancing with people.
You feel sad, maybe you want to dance about it. You feel happy. I don't know. For me, it gives me a lot of joy, first and foremost.
It's the internal beat. It's the life force.
If I wasn't making dance, I don't know what I would be doing. If I wasn't dancing, I don't know that I would be happy.
I do it because I don't know how to do anything else. I've been in dance class since I was in diapers. It is part of my life. It is the rhythm of my life.
I think I was born a mover.
Dance just allowed me a freedom to express.
I always knew that I was going to be dancing.
I got into dance at a young age because my parents discovered that I loved dress up. So initially I was put in dance because I loved the sparkly costumes, and it shifted relatively quickly from loving the dress up to loving to move. By the time I was done with dance in high school, I couldn't stand sequins.
So I took ballet, jazz, and tap until I was a teenager. Then I went to college, picked up dance a little bit there, and then sort of discovered that there was another world of tap and jazz dancing to jazz music that I discovered in my early 20s, and that took me on the journey I'm on today.
My mother was a dance teacher, so we had our studio in the basement, and I danced with her every class all day because she would not get a sitter. My aunt also had a dance studio in her basement, and I grew to believe that everyone had one in their basement, and it wasn't until kindergarten I went home with a friend, and they had a pinball machine in their basement. I said, "Where's your dance studio, and why isn't your mom wearing tights?"
I love using music that has a lot of percussion and a lot of backbeats that don't stand out to a lot of people, but they really draw my attention in and really create accents for me when I'm choreographing.
And 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that you have to marry the movement with the music. Music is inherent in the form of dance and the rhythm of it.
What I like about jazz music is that there's room for improvisation, there's room for a voice, and so everybody, the musicians, the dancers can all have a voice within there. They can complement each other, they can solo.
I think I would have ended up as a musician if I didn't need to move so badly. I have a hard time sitting still for a long period of time, so I think that my reaction to loving music brought me to be a dancer because I love to move with it.
The song I'm working with is very rhythmically complex already with the piano, bass, and drum parts. What I did was I noticed how there were kind of like different flavors in each of the instruments as they were playing throughout the piece. So what I did was I kind of colored out what each instrument sounded like to me. Show me your togetherness during the duet, and then when you face off, be like, "What's up?"
The idea of the piece came first. I knew I wanted to do a piece about the subject birth order and human relations and how we work together, how we find roles and community. And so I had a number of different tracks that I was responding to that I just liked, and I gave them to Nate, and the music has actually been being created as we create the movement. So there's just been a real back and forth collaboration.
The amount of complexity that I was looking for in the score, I was convinced I wouldn't find it in music that already existed. There's definitely dancer speak and there's musician speak.
It's like when you go and go to a foreign country and you're trying to order at a restaurant. We know what we're talking about, but we aren't really understanding each other's vocabulary.
I'm working with music in which the players have improvised, and I really want it to be relating to that music, but I don't just want to be hitting those notes word for word. And this piece, it really grabs you, and it's very irresistible, but it's also very elusive. It's like trying to catch a greased rabbit.
Although a lot of this is really sharp and clear and precise, I want you to feel that kind of groove that's in the bass. So feel like even in that, that can carry through even in the parts where you don't think you have it.
I select my dancers out of a combination of things. I would say obviously technique and style and ability to perform are very important, but I've also found over the course of working on choreographic projects or any project in general that dedication and good attitude and rehearsal and things like that become equally as important to me.
Dancers that I really feel like I can share with and that they'll feel comfortable sharing with me, that are open to explore, that are raw and rough and thrash and aggressive and energetic and lively.
Yeah! Like that. Yeah! That was awesome.
It's really about your performance quality, about what you can bring to the table, what you can kind of add to my mixture to make it, you know, bake properly. I need a little bit of that in here. Let's add that ingredient, you know, so it all meshes, you know, and comes together rhythmically like an orchestra.
What I've learned as a choreographer is really having the dancers contribute to the creative process really makes it their work as well.
All of the pieces that I've really choreographed have been music driven, and in my composition classes that I've taken, they always are wary of that. They really tell you that that is somehow illegal to do that, but I am really always drawn by a piece of music.
I feel like the movement was just there. I didn't have to really get into the studio a lot and work and create. A lot of the movement came as images.
I'm really driven by the music, and I have kind of a mathematical way of thinking about things. I think anybody who's done my work knows that I put these complex patterns together, and I kind of go about it like an equation. It's sort of like being inside of a brain teaser, I feel like. And I actually come in with a lot of material. It just kind of flows out of me, and I just get in a vein and I keep going. And then through my creative process, I begin editing back, actually, pulling back and editing out rather than having to redevelop. 4, 5 pounds, get up. And 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up, down, twist.
It's really interesting how irresistible rhythm is to all of us.
You know, that's a great thing about dance too, is that it's always changing. So there's always discovery, there's always more you can learn from somebody else and from yourself.
If I were a rhythm, or my artistic output were a rhythm, I would be...
What would it sound like? Ha! Ha!
I would sound like that.
If me and my choreography were a rhythm, what would we sound like? Some people might say it would be a lot of chatter. I disagree. But it's phrasing and pauses and silence, you know, it's like a lot of 16th notes maybe, you know, sha diggity da diggity da da sha ba 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 da 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 sha da da right? For all you tap dancers out there.